Welcome back to the Psychology Minimalism podcast. Today we are diving into something, well, I think it's heartwarming and fascinating at the same time. It's all about the incredible ways pets can impact our mental and physical health.
It is amazing how much we're learning about the human-animal bond. It really does go beyond just, that surface level happiness of having a furry friend around.
Totally. And we're all familiar with that, like, immediate joy, right? But today, I'm super curious to dig into the deeper science behind it all. What have researchers been discovering about these mental and physical benefits?
So much. One of the things that I find the most striking is that pets, especially dogs and cats, are just incredibly attuned to human behavior and emotions. So it's not just about understanding our words.
Oh, wow.
They can interpret our tone, body language, our gestures, all that stuff.
Wow, so they really can sense when we're feeling down. I mean, like, my cat always seems to know exactly when I need a good cuddle.
Exactly. And that connection right there, that's a key part of why pets can have such a positive impact on our health. I mean, studies have actually shown that pet owners are less likely to suffer from depression, and they tend to have lower blood pressure in stressful situations.
Oh, so it's not just a feeling. There's actual physiological evidence to back it up. That is really, really interesting. What else have researchers found?
Well, they've discovered that playing with a pet can increase levels of serotonin and dopamine in our brains. Those are those feel-good hormones that contribute to a sense of calm and well-being.
Yeah, of course.
And the benefits, they even extend to physical health, too. Pet owners often have lower triglyceride and cholesterol levels.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And those are important indicators of heart health.
Yeah. I had no idea that the impact was that significant. It really makes you wonder, why do pets have this powerful effect on us?
I think it all kind of boils down to a fundamental human need. Touch. We are wired for connection, and physical touch is such a powerful way to fulfill that need. And it's even something as simple as stroking a cat or hugging a dog can have a profound impact on our well-being.
Yeah, it's like this built-in stress reliever that we've evolved with. So does this mean that any type of pet can offer these benefits? Or is it like really specific to cats and dogs?
No, not at all. I mean, while, we tend to think of cats and dogs as the most common companions, research has actually shown positive impacts from all sorts of animals. Rabbits, birds, fish, reptile, even like just watching fish in an aquarium can have this kind of calming effect.
Wow, so there's really a pet out there for everyone. It's like choosing your own adventure for well-being.
I love that analogy. And it's not just anecdotal evidence either. Studies have shown that heart attack patients with pets actually survive longer.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
And older adults who own pets tend to make fewer trips to the doctor.
That's incredible. So it seems like the benefits really span across different age groups and health conditions. But what about people who are specifically struggling with mental health challenges, like depression, anxiety, or even PTSD?
Yeah.
Can pets really play a role in their recovery?
Absolutely. Pets can be incredibly beneficial for people facing mental health challenges. They offer this unique combination of companionship, structure, and motivation that can be just incredibly powerful.
Can you give us some, specific examples of how this actually works in practice?
Sure. One of the most obvious benefits is increased exercise. Like dog owners especially are more likely to meet daily exercise recommendations,
Right.
which benefits both them and their furry friend. So,
Yeah.
walking, playing fetch, exploring the park, all of that adds up.
Yeah. It's like having a built-in personal trainer who's always excited to work out with you.
Exactly. And then there's the companionship factor, right? Pets provide unconditional love and support, which can just be a lifeline for people struggling with loneliness or depression. It's that feeling of being needed and loved no matter what.
Yeah.
And that can make such a difference.
It's funny you mention that because I actually just saw a post from Psychology Minimalism on YouTube about finding joy in simplicity.
Oh, nice.
And it struck me how well that kind of aligns with the idea of pet ownership.
That's a great connection. Caring for a pet really teaches you to focus on the essentials, to appreciate those simple joys of companionship and connection.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual well-being either. Pets can have a positive impact on our social lives as well, right?
Definitely. For people who might be a little hesitant to socialize, pets can act as these social lubricants. Think about how easy it is to strike up a conversation with someone at the dog park or even on a walk.
That's so true. I mean, my dog he's a total chick magnet.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's me, I don't know. But but seriously, pets do have a way of breaking down those social barriers, right?
They do, they do. And the structure and routine that comes with pet ownership, that can also be incredibly beneficial,
Right.
especially for individuals dealing with anxiety or mood swings.
So it's not just about those feel-good moments. It's about like creating a stable and predictable environment that can really help people thrive.
Exactly. And let's not forget the sense of purpose and responsibility that comes with caring for another living being. Even on your toughest days, you still have to get out of bed to feed them, walk them, care for them. And that can be a really powerful motivator to stay engaged with life. Yeah, it's like this furry little accountability partner who just loves you unconditionally.
That's such a great way to put it. So we've talked about some of the general benefits, but I'm curious about the impact on specific populations. Like what about older adults?
Hmm.
Are there unique ways pets can enhance their well-being?
Absolutely. As people age, they might experience losses like, retirement or the passing of loved ones, or even like their children moving away. And pets can really help fill that void by providing a sense of purpose and companionship.
Yeah. So it's about like staying connected and finding meaning in life even as circumstances change.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the physical benefits too, right? Playing with a pet, taking them for walks, even just laughing at their silly antics, that can all boost energy levels and strengthen the immune system. And it's all about promoting vitality and a zest for life.
Right.
There's even research suggesting that pets can help alleviate stress for caregivers of older adults. So it's indirectly benefiting the person receiving care as well.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example of how the positive effects of pets can ripple outward, impacting entire families.
It's true. And speaking of families, we can't forget about the incredible benefits pets bring to children.
I was just thinking about that, like, growing up with a dog was such a special experience for me. What does the research say about the impact of pets on child development?
Oh, the research is so fascinating. Children who grow up with pets have a lower risk of allergies and asthma.
Oh, wow.
And they also learn invaluable life skills like responsibility, compassion, and empathy.
It's like having a furry little teacher right there at home.
I love that analogy. And think about the emotional support that pets offer too. Unlike parents or teachers who might, be critical at times, pets provide this unconditional love and acceptance. They're always there to greet you with like a wagging tail or a comforting purr. It doesn't matter what kind of day you've had.
It's that pure, unadulterated love that makes the bond so special, I think.
Absolutely. And that bond can be especially powerful for children who are facing challenges. Like for example, some autistic children find it easier to interact with pets than people because animals rely so heavily on nonverbal cues, which can be less overwhelming.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about meeting the child where they are and providing this safe, non-judgmental space to connect. What about children with other challenges, like learning disabilities? Can pets be beneficial in those situations as well?
Definitely. Pets can help children with learning disabilities regulate their stress and calm themselves, which makes it easier for them to cope with the challenges they face.
Yeah.
And the physical activity that comes with, playing with a pet, that can also help them stay alert and attentive. And that kind of counteracts the potential frustration that can arise from learning difficulties.
So it's incredible how pets can like address both the emotional and cognitive aspects of those challenges.
Yeah, it really speaks to the holistic nature of the human-animal bond. And we see similar benefits for children with physical disabilities too. Something as simple as learning to ride a horse can be such a powerful way to boost self-esteem and promote a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. So it's about empowering children and helping them tap into their inner strength.
Exactly. And pets have this incredible ability to do that without judgment or pressure.
Yeah.
They just offer their love and support, meeting the child right where they are.
It makes you wonder if interacting with animals can have such a profound impact on children.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something we can all learn from that, right? Like finding ways to be more present, more accepting, more focused on those simple joys.
I think that's such a beautiful insight, and it ties in perfectly with, the philosophy behind this podcast, right? Embracing minimalism isn't just about decluttering your physical space. It's about simplifying your life, focusing on what truly matters and finding joy in the present moment.
Speaking of which, have you checked out the At Psychology Minimalism YouTube channel?
Oh, no, I haven't yet.
They have some amazing videos on on mindful living and cultivating gratitude. It's a great resource for anyone looking to bring more intentionality into their lives.
I'll definitely have to check that out. That seems right up my alley.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing benefits, but I think it's important to acknowledge that pet ownership, isn't a magical solution for everyone, right?
Absolutely. It's crucial to remember that pets are living beings with their own needs, and they require a significant commitment of time, resources, and love.
Yeah, it's not a decision to be made lightly.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about pet ownership? Like, what are some key considerations that they should weigh?
Well, I think the first question to ask yourself is whether you genuinely love and appreciate animals.
Yeah.
Pet ownership is only beneficial if it's rooted in genuine affection and respect for the animal. And it's not just about, loving animals in the abstract. You need to be honest with yourself about your lifestyle and whether you can truly provide a happy and healthy environment for a pet.
So it's about compatibility on both sides.
Exactly. You need to be realistic about the time commitment involved too,
Mm-hmm.
Daily walks, feeding, grooming, playtime, like all of that adds up. And,
Yeah.
and there are financial considerations as well, right? Food, vet care, toys, bedding, like those costs can add up quickly.
Yeah. So it's a responsibility, not just a privilege.
Precisely. And depending on the type of pet you choose, there might be social limitations as well. You can't just spontaneously decide to go on a weekend trip if you have a dog at home who needs care.
So it's about thinking through all the practical aspects as well as the emotional ones. What about, potential downsides? Are there any risks associated with pet ownership?
Oh, there are definitely factors to consider. Some pets can be destructive, especially if they're not properly trained or stimulated. And, accidents happen, furniture gets chewed, carpets get scratched. Like those are realities of pet ownership.
It's all part of the package, right?
It is. And there are health risks to be aware of as well.
Yeah.
Allergies are a common concern. And while the risk of disease transmission from pets is relatively low, it's something to be aware of, especially if you have a compromised immune system.
So it's about making an informed decision, weighing both the benefits and the potential drawbacks.
Exactly. It's a big decision, and it's one that shouldn't be rushed.
Okay, let's say someone has considered all those factors and decided that pet ownership is right for them. What's the next step? How do you go about finding, the perfect pet?
Well, the key is to involve everyone in the household in the decision-making process. It's important to choose a pet whose needs and personality align with your family's lifestyle and preferences.
So it's about finding a good match.
Exactly. Think about your activity level. Are you a couch potato or an avid hiker? Do you have young children or elderly family members, or are there other pets in the household? Like all of these factors play a role in determining which type of pet would thrive in your home.
It's like putting together a puzzle, making sure all the pieces fit.
That's a great way to think about it. And don't forget about your home environment too, right? Do you live in a small apartment or a sprawling house with a yard? Are you a neat freak or more laid back about messes?
Yeah, those are important practical considerations.
Yeah.
What about temperament? Like how do you assess whether a pet's personality is a good fit?
Well, that's where spending time with the animal before making a commitment is crucial. If you're considering a dog, take it for a walk. See how it interacts with you and other people. If you're thinking about a cat, spend some time playing with it and observing its behavior.
So it's about getting a feel for the animal's, energy and personality.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Shelter staff and rescue groups often have valuable insights into an animal's history and temperament, and they can help you make a more informed decision.
Speaking of shelters and rescue groups, I know that's something you're passionate about. Can you talk a bit about the importance of adopting pets rather than buying them from breeders or pet stores?
Absolutely. Millions of animals end up in shelters every year through no fault of their own.
Right.
And by adopting, you're not only giving a deserving animal a loving home, you're potentially saving its life. And rescue groups do amazing work matching animals with the right families, and they often have detailed information about each each animal's personality, which makes it, easier to find a perfect match.
So it's a win-win situation.
It really is. And I urge everyone to avoid purchasing puppies from pet stores or online. Those puppies often come from puppy mills, which are essentially breeding factories that prioritize profit over animal welfare. And the conditions in puppy mills are often horrific. And the mother dogs are treated like breeding machines.
It's heartbreaking to think about.
It is. If you're set on getting a purebred dog, please do your research and find a responsible breeder who prioritizes the health and well-being of both the puppies and their parents.
I think it's so important for people to understand the difference between those unethical breeding practices and finding a breeder who really truly cares about the animals.
I agree. Yeah. Responsible breeders they're so passionate about their breed and they're dedicated to producing healthy, well-adjusted puppies. They're transparent about their practices and they're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah.
And they'll want to meet you too and make sure you're a good fit for one of their puppies.
Yeah, it sounds like a much more personal and ethical approach.
It definitely is. And it's the best way to ensure that you're not supporting a cruel and exploitative industry. So now, if you're trying to decide between like the two most popular options, cats and dogs, it's important to understand the key differences in their needs and personalities.
That's a great point. I've always been a dog person myself, but I know like a lot of people who swear by cats. What are some of the biggest things potential owners should consider?
Well, one of the most obvious differences is their level of independence, right? Like cats are generally more self-sufficient and content to be left alone for periods of time.
Right.
Dogs, on the other hand, they crave constant companionship and attention.
Yeah. So if you're someone who works long hours or travels frequently, a cat might be a better fit.
That's definitely something to consider, but it's important to remember that even cats, they need regular interaction and playtime.
Right.
They're not just furry furniture.
Oh, of course. They still need, love and attention just on their own terms.
Yeah.
What about training? Are there differences in how trainable cats and dogs are?
Generally speaking, dogs are more eager to please and easier to train than cats. They have a natural instinct to follow commands and work alongside humans. Cats, on the other hand, they're a bit more independent and they might require a little more patience and creativity when it comes to training.
Right. It's all about understanding and respecting their unique personalities.
Exactly. And when it comes to exercise needs, dogs typically require significantly more activity than cats.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They need those daily walks, playtime, and mental stimulation, while cats can be, quite playful. They're also perfectly content to lounge around and nap for a good chunk of the day.
So if you're looking for a furry fitness buddy, a dog might be a better choice. But even if you're not a marathon runner, there are still ways to keep your cat active and engaged.
Absolutely. You can find interactive toys that encourage them to move around and you can even teach them to walk on a leash. It just takes a little creativity.
I love that. It's all about finding what works for both you and your pet. Speaking of finding what works, are there alternatives to pet ownership for people who aren't ready or able to make that full-time commitment, but still want to experience the joys of animal companionship?
Oh, there are so many great options out there. You could volunteer at an animal shelter, walking dogs or socializing cats. You could foster an animal temporarily, giving it a loving home until it finds its forever family.
Oh,
some shelters and rescue groups even have pet rental programs.
Oh, wow.
Where you can take a dog for a hike or spend an afternoon, cuddling with a cat.
It's like a test drive for pet ownership.
Exactly. And it's a wonderful way to get your animal fix without making a long-term commitment. Another option is to look into, therapy dog programs. Many hospitals, nursing homes, and even schools have therapy animals who visit regularly and they provide comfort and companionship to patients, residents, and students.
That's incredible how many ways there are to experience the healing power of animals.
It really is. And it speaks to that profound connection we have with the animal kingdom.
Well, this has been such an insightful conversation. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for the complex and nuanced ways that pets can enrich our lives.
It's been my pleasure. I'm always happy to talk about the amazing benefits of the human-animal bond.
Before we wrap up, I want to remind our listeners to check out the At Psychology Minimalism YouTube channel for more inspiring content on simplifying your life and finding joy in the everyday. They have some fantastic videos on mindful living, gratitude, and creating a more intentional lifestyle.
I'll definitely be checking it out myself.
You should. So as we close out today's deep dive, what's the key takeaway you want our listeners to remember about the connection between pets and well-being?
I think the biggest takeaway is that owning a pet isn't a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
But for the right person, it can be an incredibly powerful force for positive change. It's about finding that perfect match, a companion who brings joy, comfort, and unconditional love into your life, while you in turn provide a loving and supportive home for them.
It's a truly beautiful symbiotic relationship.
It really is, and it has the potential to not only transform our individual lives, but to create this ripple effect of kindness and compassion that extends outward into the world.
What a beautiful thought. If the simple act of caring for a pet can inspire us to be more empathetic and connected, imagine the possibilities, right?
I completely agree.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. It's been a truly enlightening conversation.
Thank you for having me.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Psychological Minimalism Podcast. We'll see you next time.